Good morning. If you're new here, welcome. It's so nice to have you be a part of our little family that we have forming here. And if you're back, welcome back. And if you were with me earlier, then maybe you saw what's in the cup, because I'm going to show you what's in the cup right now. I bought this cup specifically for Drills and Chills. What do I got in here? Oh, I can't show you. Wait a minute. I only took one little sip out of it too. Wait, hold on 1 second. Because I want to show you what's in here. I have a little cookie. Can never get in the shot. What the heck is going on? Hey, Phillies. Phillies is what's going on. Anybody see that game last night? Against the Diamondbacks? 10-0. We put them in the hospital last night. Here we go. I'll show you when I'm done, because I will be done. It's a skeleton. It's the cutest thing. And I have my little lotus cookie here. This is a Biscoff cookie. Delicious, perfect for your cappuccino. I don't have a cappuccino in here. I have a breve, but I have a cappuccino story, and it has to do with Matt Dillon. Yeah, so you're going to want to see that episode. And we're working on Haunted from Diamond Art Club. That's who we're working on. And move my cappuccino. I should really just, down that like an espresso, but it's so good. A breve is so good. It's steamed half and half. Oh, it's delicious. So where am I here? Is this done? Oh, I have a little section here to do. Okay, that's perfect, because I was like, oh, I got to go all the way up here. But no, I have a little section here to do. Here we go. And it's all little hearts. How perfect. So if you saw my previous video, I have nothing out. What is she doing today? She's got Matt Dillon on her mind. That's what she's doing. Even the cat is mad at me. 1 second. Oh, I'll get my big tray here. And I'll show you what I did. My husband's going to try and fix it. I don't know that he can, but he's going to try. I'll show you what I did here, if you missed it in my other video. My placer, I went to go press wax into it, and it broke right off. So those of you that got the skinny placers that are plastic from Amazon, just be careful, because now this is wedged. The post is wedged into the neck of this beautiful pen that I have from Leopard Leatherworks. I love this pen. I love it. And I'm going to have to maybe even... I have a drill that I use for nails that maybe I'll be able to get that piece out. You think? I don't know. I'm just so, and I don't know that I even want to. I have the skinny placers from Diamond Art Club, but I didn't open that up yet, because there's another, of course, there's another diamond painting in there. And that's for something else that I'm working on that I have in my head, but not down on paper yet, that I want to do. So I haven't worked on her. It's over a week. And this is week 6 of Drills and Chills. So we're coming into... Do I have another piece here? What am I doing? I have another little section here. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, it's week 6. I haven't worked on her. I got really involved with Lilac. I just love Lilac. Oh my gosh, that's Dreamer Design. And I hope you take a look at the video that I did yesterday about comparative standards. You know, it's nice that we have all these diamond art painting companies out there, and yeah, a lot of people do consider Diamond Art Club to be the Cadillac, of diamond painting, and they're great. Their drills are shiny. They're able to manage what they're giving out, because they're making them in house. They're in control of their drills. I get that, but I was going into it. I was going into Dreamer Design not with a clean slate, but kind of like comparing the two. And I really didn't want to do that. And I was glad that I took a break from the painting because I was getting so frustrated, and took a walk and cleared my head and came back with fresh eyes, because the problem wasn't the painting, and it wasn't because it wasn't Diamond Art Club. It was me. I was getting in my head, and I was getting under a lot of tension in this little desk that we do our stuff with. We work at our desk, and if we're getting a little frustrated, or we're not feeling it, and we're just trying to get something done, and we're under tension, it's no different than being in an office in a cubicle. Why would you do that to yourself? So I looked at what I was doing, and what I was doing was I was picking up my drills all wrong. I wasn't really, like, I love the way that here's one that doesn't belong here. I love that, you shake your drills and they align. I have two of them that don't belong here, and they align. But your drills really don't go down that way. They have a little space, a little breathing space, like just a tiny little hair. And so I've noticed that if I put my tray down and just go like that, they kind of give each other that breathing room. They're not right on top of one another. And I noticed that I like the way that they appear once I put them on the canvas. And also, putting my placer down, I tend to lean over this way, and it just was adding to the problem that I thought wasn't me, but it is me. It is me. I'm the problem. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. For all my Swiftie fans. I think I have one more on here than I need. And, if I just turn my wrist a baby bit, beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I will tell you that these drills at times can be blinding. They can. They're so beautiful. And then sometimes I just like to single place. I think sometimes when I get deep in thought, I stop with the multi-placing and I start to single place. Or even when I'm filming, I notice that I single place more. And my single placing can use some work. This isn't just a pick and stick craft. It really is about slowing down. It is a meditative process. And it is about slowing down, and it is about, creating and letting your mind, you're not really thinking, ever so slightly, but you're letting your mind unravel from, what is it that Picasso said? The dust of the day. And just letting yourself be free. But I think what I'm trying to say is that it's also a deliberate intention when you pick up and you place down. The movement is deliberate. It's not, I think there's commercial that's like, or a commercial, my age is showing. I think there's been a little social media advertisement that's like, oh, this is the new thing, diamond art painting, and you just pick and stick. It's a little bit more deliberate than that. It's not that mindless activity, but it's been great. I got certified in Zentangle. I went out to Providence, Rhode Island to meet Maria and Rick Roberts and become certified in Zentangle, where you take patterns and you repeat them and you create these little portraits of art. And the way that came about was Maria is a calligrapher. And if you've seen any type of calligraphy, I think like Lindt chocolate would probably be the one that everyone would know. The Lindt logo is her work. So her work is around a lot. She is a master calligrapher, Maria Roberts. And Rick um, was telling the story of how he went into her art room and he was talking to her. But he spent some time as a monk, I believe he was saying. So he's proficient, I guess you would say, like in meditation. He likes his meditation time. He likes to sit and meditate. I believe he plays like a flute, a beautiful like flute. And he had wanted Maria to meditate, and she's like most people that are busy and type A personalities. All they see is the pink elephant in the room, you know. And she said that she was doing a alphabet for a book, like a Renaissance book. And so each chapter would begin with the first letter of that chapter, like in a very Gothic graphic design that she was doing. So she knew what she was doing. She didn't have to think about it. I need some of this Breve. And when Rick came into the room and she was doing her calligraphy, he was talking and he was asking her, what do you want to do for lunch? And he had asked her again and she didn't answer. And the third time, he was a little bit more like, Maria, you know, do you, and she was like, what? And he was like, did you hear me ask you? I'm asking you what you want to do for lunch. She's like, I didn't hear you. How long have you been here? And he was like, what do you mean you didn't hear me? And she's like, oh, I was just so involved, like in this job that I'm doing. I just was like in this zone, you know, it was really like I lost track of time. And he's like, that's what meditation is. You keep asking me what meditation is. That's what meditation is, you know, because he had wanted his wife to join him in meditation, you know. And she's like, I'm going to go make a lunch. We're going to pack a bag. And we're going to discuss what just happened. She was that moved by it. And they started to talk about how the benefits of yoga and meditation, but that if you were a type of personality like Maria, you were missing out. And that this was something that she felt that she was onto. How do we get people in the zone? And, you know, you're not going to teach them technical calligraphy, but she could teach them patterns. And so I don't know about you guys, you know, I suffered with anxiety and panic attacks. In fact, I go into one when I tell you the story about the cappuccino and Matt Dillon. I had a panic attack. And the one thing that I would do that would calm me down was repetitive stuff. I would, you know, draw circles, 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 you know, lines, 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 boxes, stars, like, and then do a mandala, you know. I would go into the restaurant and I would count money because that was repetitive also. You know, putting coins in order, things that needed to be put in order, things that were repetitive, but you really didn't have to think about is what I would do. And so Maria came up with these patterns that people could create this, a little work of art, but they brought, it wasn't just creating the pattern. It's about gratitude and appreciation and, you know, taking a breath when you sit down to do your work. And just like even before we come to our table to do our diamond art, but to really take in the canvas and how beautiful it is and the colors and the palette and the work that went into it. And, to be a little tactile also, and, use your hands to take in the feeling of the drills, of the canvas, just bringing all your senses to life. And so when Rick and Maria made these little tiles, I believe they're like 4x4 cotton. They're cotton tiles. So from the moment, you don't need much for this either. You need a pen, you need a piece of paper, you need a pencil. So you can do this artwork anywhere. You can put it in your pocket. So that's what she wanted. They started to put in motion, what did they want from this craft that they were looking to bring to the masses so that they could experience meditation without actually sitting and doing this, And they came up with Zentangle, her being the tangle, because I believe she said that that's what her patterns are called. In the calligraphy world, they're called tangles. And Rick being the Zen, having the background in meditation with, I believe, I hate to be wrong here. It's been so many years since I was like one of the first teachers that took Zentangle to be certified. So I know that he did spend some time with monks and meditation. And so creating the 4x4 disc, having it be cotton, having the pen be an archival pen that would not run or leak or smear, or heaven forbid you left your little Zentangle in your pocket and it went through the washer, it would not be destroyed. So they put a lot of thought into making it such a pleasant experience. Like, we all know that when we work on a canvas that's not cushy and doesn't have the felt in the back, and we've all worked on different canvases, I'm sure. So she just really wanted it to be an experience of high quality and something that made you feel alive. And that was part of it, when you would sit down with your little tile to appreciate what you were working on, the paper that you were working on, and to then, create a border. And for me, being a yoga teacher, that 4 dots that you would make around your border always reminded me of like a beginning, a middle, an end, and then sealing the circle, even though it was a square, like into infinity. And then you begin to create there is intuition to it, because you create what is called a string that you just draw intuitively inside your border. And then whatever string you've created, you're going to create inside those pockets. So it's small and it's doable. So let's just say you take one pocket and you want to just create circles. Or you go into another pocket and you create a muka, which is an homage to Alphonse Mucha. And then you choose your patterns that you want to practice or that you think will go good together. And then you learn about shading, and you have this little work of art, And there's a process also to, turning your art as you work, which I love. Also, not erasing anything. If you think that you've made a mistake, how can you work it into your art, or maybe just leave it there? And you hear people say this all the time. The one that I thought was a mistake or that I wasn't going to like is the one that I end up loving. It's the one that I just end up loving. So, I still Zentangle a little bit, not as much as I used to. I don't teach anymore Zentangle because I'm wrapped up with this. But it was just a beautiful way to lower your blood pressure, untangle your mind, you know. And it's the same thing with diamond art. Diamond art does the same thing. It's so good. You know, you hear stories of people that have anxiety, and it gives them the opportunity to relax their mind but still be doing something, because that's the thing with anxiety. You know, you, when you're in the throes of an attack, you almost feel like you can't do anything and it wipes you out, but you want to do something. You want to be able to still be productive and do something, and you are, and you're taking care of yourself. For one thing, you're lowering your heart rate, you're taking control of your breathing, you're lowering your blood pressure, and you're creating something for yourself that can be a tool that you can rely on. And especially something like that, like we can't take this with us, but Zentangle, you can take it with you, and you can, you know, you go to a doctor's office, you have to go to a hospital, whatever it is, and you could just create a little work of art while you're doing that. I did it with kids in my local rec center that were, you know, and some teachers, I don't even know how they got their degree, but it was like, oh, I'm going to give you my kids that are like a problem, my bad kids. What? They're bad kids? There aren't any bad kids. Oh, and you know, they were the greatest creators. They really were. They loved it. They loved that they were doing something, and they loved that they were creating something that they could see. They could see, and you know, it was just so good for them to be able to slow their mind down. And kids are so honest. Like, you know, if you catch them in this state and you just ask them what they're thinking, they will startle and amaze you. It'll just be like, you know, I'm thinking about what I did, and I don't know why I did it, you know. You know, I just heard something tell me to get up, and I couldn't stop myself. You know, it's one of my students said to me. I was like, you know, why do you think you keep getting up in class when you know you're disrupting the class? And he's like, I don't know. I just hear something that tells me to get up, and I can't, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to be bad. Oh, it's heartbreaking. Um, but I can't stop myself. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, we're going to help you with that. And just knowing that somebody is there to listen to them, and, oh God, deem them bad. I don't want to be bad. I'm like, you're not bad. You're not bad. We're going to help you with this. And this is going to help you calm down. This is going to help you think. You know, because their thoughts move too quickly. And they can't, you know, they can't catch up. And then they get more frustrated, and they act out even more because, you know, somebody's screaming in their face, why did you do what you did? You know, or go down to the principal office, and then they're worried about what their parents are going to say, or they're going to be punished. It's a terrible, vicious cycle. So you know, if you have a child that you think maybe could benefit from this, I think they would do wonderful. Wonderful. I used to love teaching yoga to my little girls at the rec center. They're just so good. They have this, you know, system of being buddies, and at the end I would let them all, you know, lay down in a circle, and they would all hold hands. I'm gonna get teary-eyed, but they all would hold hands, and they would, you know, talk about how they were feeling before they came in, what they wanted to work on, and then at the end, that's the way we would close in. Okay, let's get back in our circle and hold hands, and let's everybody tell, you know, if you want to. I never forced anybody to. Anybody want to start? Anybody want to tell, you know, how you feeling? You know, or did anything come to you while you were practicing your little poses? You know, because our poses for the younger kids, you have to be careful with yoga with young children, because their joints are not really developed yet, and they can get like hyper extension, and you don't want that. And so, you know, they would either say which one they liked, or, you know, I was thinking about this, or apologize. You know, I really want to apologize to my girlfriend. I got mad at her. She's my best friend. You know, it was just, oh, it's so lovely to teach kids. It really is. It really is. My son used to love to be in the kitchen with me when he was little. Loved it. He loved it. Mom, can we make a chocolate cake? Yeah, I could have went and bought him a cupcake, but that was something that me and him used to do, and that was always like my weapon that I had in my arsenal. You know, want to make a chocolate cake? When I was trying to divert his attention away from something that I didn't want him to do. Yeah, he was so cute, my son. He was so cute. And he had, like, for 2 years old, he had an extensive palate. He ate everything and nothing at the same time. You know, he was always too busy running. He had a lot of energy, my kid. Oh, God, such a boy. And he wasn't gaining weight for a while, and the doctor had said, I need you to, like, leave snacks out for him, something that he can grab while he's whizzing by. And I used to leave out those little cow cheese snacks because, you know, they're cute. There's a cow on them. And he used to love to unwrap them, you know, kind of like candy, and pop them in his mouth. And then we would make, like, I would put pancake batter in squeeze bottles and let them make different shapes. And kids always want to eat what they made. You know, they know what's going on in there. They know what's going on. They made it, and so they want to eat it. As I was taking my tweezer out, I keep thinking about this canvas. And I'll explain that to you in a minute, because I don't know if I want to go another week with this canvas. I don't know if I want to finish it today. I always think I have one more on. Oh, that was really crooked. I always think I have one more on there than I need. And then not only did I not, oh, they're still stuck on here. I had exactly what I needed. So I don't know if I want to go one more week with this canvas. I don't know if I just want to finish it, because we're getting close to Halloween and I want this to be hanging in my window. I need another sip of coffee. There's so much steamed milk on my cup that I don't know if you're going to be able to see my little skeleton head in there. I gotta get my spoon. Oh, here it is. I have to give him a bath and coffee so you can see him. Still can't see him, but he's coming. Isn't that cute? I just love this cup. Home Goods. It was like $2.99. I love that. I love that store. I call it Home Gods. Home of the Gods. Or Gods for your home. I don't know what I mean, but I call it Home Gods. So I really wanted this in my window. And if I finish it and not go another week, I can hang it in my window. And how I wanted to hang it was, I want to put gesso around the border and paint it black. That's what I want to do. And I saw somebody did that already. Someone in Drills and Chills did that. I was like, oh, great minds. But then I have to do surgery too. And I'm sorry if you're new and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And maybe if you're not new, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Let me just get these couple A's in, and then I'll tell you what I'm talking about, because I have to pick this up. Okay. See, I'm getting sloppy because I'm rushing. Don't rush. Where are we going? We're always rushing. Where are we going? There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. You carved this time out for yourself. Enjoy it. Enjoy it, because you never know what's going to happen in the next minute. Trust me, right? We've all been there with that with that. Okay, so my surgery has to do with, and it's so funny. I've said this, and people have commented. I have this canvas, and I never noticed that she had a wart on her nose. No, she's got a wart. I'm going to do surgery. You don't know how bad I want to pull this off right now. I'm pulling it off because I can't stand it no more. Now, I went to go look to see if that was right. And it is. That's the drill that goes there. Why would they do that? That's not what the picture looks like. The picture don't look like that. Here it is. Yeah, it goes there. So I'm taking that off. Are we going to do this right now? I'm taking that off and I'm putting, oh, what's the color next to her? Is that it? That might be it. No, that's an AB. That don't go there. It's this one, 819. I'm taking that off. I'm putting this one in. Even that, why is that so dark? Oh, I'm putting that one in, and then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this one off. And put this one in. And I'm giving her a beauty mark. There, we're done. She got a beauty mark. I turned her blemish into a beauty. Create the world you want to live in. And I'm creating a beauty mark for my beautiful witch. And that's that. So, the surgery's done. Once and for all. Where am I working here? I want to make sure I'm in the shot. I've noticed that even when I go to edit and I'm like, why do I have a border? And I think that's my editing program. I don't know what's going on. So it's always something. It's always something. And I was thinking, like when I was doing the filming earlier for What's in the Cup, you know, and I was talking about, you know, celebrities that used to come in my cafe. And I never bothered anybody. I leave people alone. And I was like, why are people so, like, gaga over actors? Right? They're only on TV. That's it. I'm on TV. I got my own channel. But I would never bother anyone that came. And half the times I didn't even know who I was talking to. My girls, my baristas, they would be hysterical. They would like, do you know who you're talking to? I'm like, no, who? Oh, God, I knew she looked familiar. I just thought it was somebody I know, somebody I went to school with. Oh, my God. But I did know who a few people were that were really very... I have never met a mean celebrity. Nobody ever got mean. Nobody ever got cocky or anything like that. But I think that celebrities did appreciate that I wasn't a page 6 girl. I didn't say, oh, guess who came into my place today? You're not going to believe it. Nah, I don't like that. I just don't. I think that you got to give people the respect. They work. You know, and this is their time off, especially in Manhattan. They're busy with their kids. They're busy, you know, doing their thing, shopping, whatever it is. You know, I'm sure they love meeting their fans and all, but they don't want to be hounded by people. I'm sure if they had a preference, it would be like, yeah, I just wish I can go out and, you know, because let me tell you, I don't know if I told this story before. I was walking in Midtown Manhattan. I wasn't really close to Central Park, maybe about 10 blocks away, but it definitely was Midtown, like in the 50s. And all of a sudden, these cars came out of everywhere, and people jumped, hundreds of people jumped out of cars, and they had these big cameras with lenses on them like I've never seen before, like, like this. like this, attached to their camera. And it is so frightening. It is absolutely frightening. And they're just hounding one person that's getting out of a car. I was like, oh, could you imagine? I'm like, do celebrities get panic attacks? Because I would die. It is so frightening, not only because they just cover you. It's like somebody dropped a net on you. But God forbid you had to get out of a situation. Like if you were panicking or whatever, they don't even allow you to walk, move, nothing. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm still not over Princess Diana. I'm still not over it. And I think that the paparazzi should have been held accountable for that. How they wearing, I don't know. I don't know. They hunted. How many pictures do you need of this woman? How many? Even when I look at, I love Marilyn Monroe, who doesn't? There are pictures still that I have not seen of Marilyn Monroe. She must have had a camera in her face every single day. They must have been taking a picture of her every single minute. I am always amazed that here's another picture of Marilyn Monroe I've never seen before. It's crazy. How many pictures did you need of Princess Diana with her boyfriend? Yeah, she left Charles. He's got Camilla. She's with Dodi. Leave her the hell alone. She's not even with the royal family anymore. Leave her alone. But they're obsessed. They're obsessed. For what? For a rag magazine. A rag magazine. Like I said, I'm still not over it. It's heartbreaking that she lost her life. And she lost her life with her children. Heartbreaking. And I don't understand how they don't get that when they're hounding someone in a car, no less. She's not even on her 2 feet. She's in a freaking car. Oh, heartbreaking. I don't know. Maybe we just don't have real celebrities anymore. Like, old-time Hollywood celebrities. Who really gets hounded today by the press? The Kardashians? I can't stand any of those girls. And I ain't afraid to say it out loud. What movie stars do we really have? I mean, I'm sure they're out there. And I just can't think right now because I'm very hot right now thinking about paparazzi. Let me change the subject. Change the subject. Put this away. What am I doing here? I just need one here of this. Every time I look up, I see this guy. I could still use you for this. Can I? Oh, I can't because it's an AB. What am I doing? Like I said, I got my Diamond Art Club skinny placers, but I have another unboxing to do, something that I bought because they got us on our toes, Diamond Art Club, with always dropping new stuff. And last night it was something else. Last night it was they're giving away like $50 coupons, like golden ticket, I think it's called. And, shop now. And there I am. I'm right on there. And I'm like, did this one just come off? It did. I'm on there and I'm like, I have like 38 things on my wish list. So I think, I was like, well, I think I'm going to get this one that I want for the summer. It's actually the flamingo. And it reminds me, I lived in Sarasota and I lived like right near the Barnes Art Museum. And being that the Barnes Art Museum was right there, they had a lot of other galleries in the area. What is going on here? Is that... I'm telling you, they're so shiny, you can't even see. You're blinded. Yep, there was 2 of them on there. I didn't even see it. So there were other galleries, and this gallery had an oil painting, and it was just like, it was flamingo color, and you couldn't make it out. It was like one of those magic paintings, until the curator told me, he's like, that's an eye of a flamingo. And then when you had that in your head, it was like, oh my God, it was just the eye with the pink flowers around it. And I was in love with that portrait because it was beautiful until you realized what it was. And then it was just like, oh wow, that's really amazing. I was just in love with that flamingo. They're one of my favorite, species too. And I wanted to get that one by Diamond Art Club. But, I have like 10% off, like we all do, and we get our 10% off on our box. And it's like $54 and then 10% off. I'm like, I still got to order more stuff now. If not, I'm going to pay for shipping. So I think I'm going to get their candle, because I have the placers that I want. I'm a little off on this entire line, I'm telling you. Oh boy. Yep, that whole line was off. I need another black one in there. So I think I'm going to get their candle, and I think I'm going to get the flamingo, and hopefully that makes me meet the free delivery. It gets me up. They're getting you to 75 one way or another, because you're either going to pay for the shipping, or you're gonna buy product, and to get to the 75 and get free shipping. And I'd rather buy product. If I'm going to be paying the same amount anyway, I might as well buy product. So I figured I'll get a candle. The candles seem nice. I'll get a candle. Has anyone ever used a candle in their stylus? I was wondering that the other day too. This is what I do when I'm home alone and I'm time of painting. I think about these things. What's the difference between wax that you buy and wax in a candle, right? I mean, I have girlfriends that used to make candles. They get their little, what are they called? Oh my gosh, I'm having a moment. They get the little containers that they pour the wax in, the molds. Oh my God, did I really not know the word for mold? They get their little molds, and they would make their wax. They put their essential oils in. I mean, isn't that essentially what these waxes are that we're buying? Or is there more to it than that? I don't know. I was just wondering if anybody ever used wax in a candle. If you have, let me know. Tell me something I don't know. And I just have this one little section, and then this will be done. I don't know why. I must have jumped here without finishing that. It happens. And, when I'm filming or whatever, I think I'm done because I've been talking for an hour, and then I'm not done. I jump over to somewhere else. So let's see. This was such a beautiful palette. I really love the hot pinks and the purples and the yellows. And I'm still in love with this little ghost in the corner. I love him too. Very pretty. And I seen that Diamond Art Club also, there's Luna Witch, but now there's Luna Witch sitting like on a step, I believe, with pumpkins. So she's cute. And I was thinking about getting her for next year. But then I went over to Diamond Painting Shop because I forgot that I had an order with Rosa for another Muka. And then Lindsay was saying that she was doing jingle drills, and being that the one that I ordered from Rosa is back ordered, I thought maybe what I'll do is order a different Muka, the winner, and you know, trade it out for that. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm thinking, what is going wrong with this line here? So, but when I went to Diamond Paint Shop, she had new Halloween paintings also from an artist whose first name is Hannah, who one of my subscribers was telling me to go to another diamond painting company. I believe the last name is Profit. Am I right here? Am I getting this wrong? Because I'm trying to remember everything, you know, off the cuff. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's the girl that did this one for Diamond Paint Shop. And she has a gorgeous one coming out in December called Ecstasy that I just fell in love with. In fact, I sent her a message yesterday on Instagram to see if she would sell that painting to Diamond Paint Shop also, and not just the Australian company, because if I can get it here, I will. So, oh, I swore I would never buy another canvas until one was done. Now, forget it. Forget it. I got paintings all over the place. I saw a couple of blanks here. Here we go. Here we go. I got another one up there. I have to look at this closer because it looks to me like this line is wrong. And you know what happens? You got one line wrong, then they're all wrong. I can't see what I did here. I don't, yeah, no, maybe. I'm going to have to take this whole line out. Oh, no, there it is. All right, I'm getting panicked for nothing. It's fixed. It just was in the wrong. It just had to come down some. And I'm sure when I was doing this, I was enjoying what I was doing. I'm not saying that. But I was not being deliberate with my placement. That's what I want to say. I was not being deliberate with my placement. I was being mindless with my placement, and my drills were put down sloppy. And, you know, it just causes a problem later. Like, what are you doing? Now I have this one little piece to do here. I just have that stuck on there like that. How about that? And it's again the hearts and those little lines that look like bacon. I should have left them out, so then I didn't have to go back and go take them out again, being that they were right next to me. So here's the hearts, here's the bacon, here's the sevens. Oh my gosh. I do like taking my time. I do like that I took this out and I worked on it and then I put it away for the following week. I do like that. Because it does help change it up a bit. You know, it does help change it up where, you know, you get a break to do something new. I haven't had Foxy Lady out. I love her. She is just joy to me, that canvas. That canvas is just joy. She is so colorful and beautiful. I love her. And I have a new one. Like I told you, I have to unbox yet. And Hornet will be done. And then I have Winter Fox. Oh gosh, I love that canvas. I haven't had her out, so maybe I'll do an update on her too, because I just did an update on Lilac. And you know, Lilac has got me in such a tizzy. I love it so much that I can't wait to get Crimson out, and she'll be coming out in November for Lindsay's jingle drills. Anybody doing jingle drills with Lindsay? Lindsay had a Halloween Advent video that she did. The canvas was adorable. And I believe maybe there were 13 things that she had. 13, of course. She had 13 packages to open, and there was such fun stuff. One of them was glow in the dark washi tape. Because I was thinking, like, I'm going to paint this canvas. I'm going to paint this border when I'm done. But I was thinking, there's so many pretty wide washi tapes that maybe we can washi tape around the border, and that would be nice too. And it was so funny, but one of her gifts that she opened for the advent calendar was a spider, and she threw it. She was like, no, I don't like this one. And she turned it upside down and all. Don't like it. I don't like spiders. It was so funny. But that was really adorable. I have never been into Halloween, and I lived in New York, where Halloween is like, forget it. It's like a Broadway play, Halloween in New York. But I am so into it this year with Trills and Chills. It just, I don't know, turned me into a Halloween person. It's so funny. You know, I don't have my leopard leatherwork pen, but I do have my skinny stylus, and I don't say this enough, but everything you need is in your toolkit. Dreamer Designs puts out an excellent toolkit. So does Diamond Art Club. They put out an excellent toolkit. So everything you need is right there to get you started. If you wanted to change the stylus that comes with your toolkit, do that, because these are just perfectly fine. They're perfectly fine. In fact, I find that my hand is a little bit more relaxed with these skinny styluses. So you don't have to go out and, you know, buy anything. You might want to do, you know, a wax or putty. I never had luck with putty. I use the Poster Tack, and I use the Quake putty and the museum putty. I like the museum putty, I think, the best. My museum putty has a lot of stick to it without getting goopy. Sometimes I get cookie. But everything that you need. I mean, I have wax in here. This is the red wax from Diamond Art Club, and you haven't seen me change it yet. And I started with this today, and I'm not having any problem picking up. So it's nice to have those little extras, especially when you're filming. I think it looks nice aesthetically. It's very, very nice. But I don't have any luck with it. And then, you know, if I'm filming and I'm making a mess, you know, who wants to see that, you know, train wreck? Nobody wants to see that going on. Be stressing out just watching me. But I said this yesterday, I do have my Suzanne Somers collection on. I love this ring. Yesterday I had both on. This is the one, the same exact one. I have the same exact one in gold. This is it in silver. For my dear Suzanne Somers. I grew up with Suzanne Somers. I grew up with Chrissy Snow. Come and knock at my door. Three's Company. If you're too young, look it up. Look up Three's Company. It was so funny, especially when they really like were trying to fill in for Suzanne Somers leaving because she wasn't getting paid. She was getting paid $30,000 an episode, and she wanted the $150 that John Ritter was getting paid. And I think Joyce DeWitt was just happy to be working. But, you know, she wasn't the show, but she was the show. People turned in for Chrissy. My girlfriend taught herself how to snort just because Chrissy did it all the time, you know. And my girlfriend taught, you know, the first time I heard my girlfriend snort, I'm like, did you just, I mean, we were young. We were in high school. She's like, yeah, I taught myself to snort like Chrissy Snow. And I mean snort laughing. Suzanne Summers made that character. They tried to get somebody to come in. I don't even know who the girl was. After Suzanne Summers left, it was never the same. Never the same. And then I think the Ropers were always there, but then Don Knotts came on for a while. But Suzanne Summers, she created that character, and no one could have, taken her place. And they shouldn't have done that. They should have created another character to, like, oh, Chrissy's not living with us anymore. We need a new roommate. Maybe they should have got a guy. 2 guys and a girl. Who knows? But at that point, I think they would have did better just getting an animal, just getting a pet, because they had no luck. But I loved Suzanne Summers. I used to watch her on Facebook because she was always talking about her collection of clothes and jewelry. She was very down to earth. She created her clothes, she created her jewelry, and her and her husband Al would do a show, and they would go out into their back, and they had like a little gazebo, and Al had a bar, and they would drink tequila and talk about like what she had coming up on Home Shopping Club, and just talk about their life. And she would tell stories, and she always had great stories. And she got me started on my journey into bioidentical hormones, because I knew that when I went into menopause, I was not going on synthetic hormones. And I did great with them. I love my bioidenticals. My doctor had met Suzanne Summers because she's the only advocate for bioidentical hormones. I don't know anybody else that's talking about them. It's so hard to even find a doctor that will treat you with bioidenticals. They give you a blood test. They find out what it is that you need for your system, and they create a compound. And, I opted to not do a cream because I'm forgetful and lazy. And when it comes to that, my husband will tell me every day, like, did you take your blood pressure medication? I'm like, so I wasn't about to do a cream. So I opted to do a pellet, where they make a little slit, a tiny little, 1 stitch on your hip. And they place these pellets in that are estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And I would get a bioidentical for my thyroid, because my thyroid is low. And that's it. And then I would go back in 3 months, and then your body takes from it what it needs when it needs it. And you're constantly on an even keel. I never had hot flashes. I don't know what anybody's talking about when they say they have a hot flash. Don't know. But I went through a mother with hot flashes, and let me tell you, it was not pleasant. My mother was, oh my God, she was murder when she was going through menopause. And when she was 50, I was in my 20s. And so, please. And I thought, I am never, ever, ever going to go through that, ever. And, Suzanne Summers was writing all those books, a lot of information in the book, a lot of doctors to go to, what to look for, what to ask. And I was lucky. I found a doctor right here, right not far from my home. So you'll be seeing me with my Suzanne Summer jewelry on. She made great jewelry, fun clothes too. I'll never forget, her house did burn down, and she was surveying the damage, and they found something in the rubble, and it was her wedding ring. Can you imagine? I mean, this girl had a mansion. Can you imagine? To find a wedding ring, and it was a simple little band that they found. And she looked at her husband and she said, I guess this means I have to be married to you forever. So there we are. On that note, we're done our section. Bella has had her beauty mark. Her wart turned into a beauty mark. Bella Witch. That's going to be your name. Your name is Bella because you're too beautiful. And hopefully I get my leopard leatherwork pen fixed. My husband said, leave it to me. I don't know now. I'm starting to panic because he can't put a nail into a wall and hang a picture. He wants to fix my pen. And I think that if I finish Bella here, Haunted, if I finish her, which I most likely will, because this is just, I'm not going to tape myself doing this big black section. I could barely see them anyway because they're so dark and shiny, they blind you. I will then tape how I will tape, oh my God, we're going right back to the 80s. I'll video me putting the gesso on and painting the border and how it comes out because we already did the surgery. So I think I need another cappuccino now for all that. All right, my family, it was so nice of you to hang out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Maybe the next one will be an unboxing. I'll get those skinny placers out because I have a feeling he's not going to be able to fix that pen. He's not going to be able to fix this. I told you, he can't bang a nail on the wall. He wants to try and get this out of here. Oh, God help me. Anyway, create the world that you want to live in, okay? And I will see you in the next one.